All right, all right. Welcome to the Real Estate Block podcast. Today I have one of my really good friends and special guests, David. He is a real estate agent, one of the top, actually the top real estate agent in Temecula, California. We have done several deals and together. And today I wanted to really talk about, you know, the relationship between a wholesaler and a realtor, right? That happens a lot. I know on the wholesaling side, a lot of people talk about what does that look like, and I'm not so sure how many agents you might talk to that have that talk about wholesalers and stuff like that. There's a huge rival between real estate agents and wholesalers. To be honest, I'm one of them that probably egg on that rival. I'm not a big real estate agent fan, even though me and my wife are real estate agents, and I have great friends that are. The agents that I like are the obviously the David that think outside the box. But we'll get to my hatred for real estate agents here shortly. Tell me about who you are, David. How did we meet, and how do you like working with wholesalers?
Awesome, yeah. So real estate broker now, got that license.
Oh, crap. Congratulations,
October,
dude.
For sure, absolutely. That's a dream come true. And 8 years now in the business here with Century 21. This is all I do. All day, every day, full-time from day one. I jumped in both feet, and I don't know if that was the best idea or not, but, we learned how to swim pretty quick. And I met you guys. Dang, you know what? Answer that's a good question. I have to go back. When did we
2020.
Well, actually, no, here it is. No, so it started,
Michaela, you shut your mouth.
It started with Michaela. I was like, wait a minute, because
It did start with Michaela.
We started with Michaela. That's right.
Yeah.
We're working together at C21, and then of course you guys were together. And I don't know. We came out to the office one day.
Okay.
And I think we just hit it off from like day one.
Yeah. I remember, we were talking about giving you leads that, wanted retail. And I even took a nice picture of you and I in front of our bell and everything like that. Gave you a shirt and said, "Hey, welcome to the team."
I still got that shirt.
Nice, nice. We had a whole name. We had an old name called Backdraft, and
He
now
needs
we're
to sell his New Day shirt now.
now he needs to sell his New Day shirt. No, I remember I remember when it was like yesterday when me and Michaela were dating. She was talking about she wanted to be a realtor, and it was so cool. I was supporting her. This was before I was a wholesaler or anything like that. I was still a fireman, and she said I wanted to be a real estate agent. She's like, that's just one of my goals. That I have had this goal for a long time, and she went out and did it. Passed the test for the first time. Did a little bit of studying. Passed the test for the first time. And then she joined, and then she started actually interviewing at different brokers. You want to talk about that story?
Yeah, I interviewed at like probably 3 or 4, and I met with Felipe who was the manager at the time. Yeah, and definitely he gave me like a lot of good vibes of the place. Like, he was very warming because it was like, hey, I'm also about to become a full-time stepmom to this little girl, so like, I can work, but I'm not going to be in the office. And I had a few of the other offices. They're like, well, if you're going to be successful, you need to be in the office. And I was like, I just told you my situation. So whatever. So yeah, so then I started, passed the test, started at Century 21, and then he goes, okay, you're going to go under David now. I'm like, okay, let's go.
Yeah, that was our mentor program. I remember that.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was. I remember hearing about you, and you definitely are well put together. If you can see it here on our second camera too, and the way he's dressed, he comes to dress to impress. He shows up. He's showing up every day to hit those goals that you're hoping to hit. But anyways, it was even at the time I was looking up to. I said this guy is he definitely means business. He knows what he's talking about. He's a complete go giver. At the time you were giving, I think a lot more than you were taking, right? You were doing a lot of education to these realtors at the time. But I wanted to take a step back. I remember you would go around to all these brokers, and you were interviewing the broker to see if I want to be a part of their team, and you got turned off by a lot of them. And then they obviously stood out, and then you joined, and you decided to hang your license with them. I think you got like one deal under your belt before we jumped into the wholesaling space head first, but the entire time David was kind of
He was there the whole time helping me out with all of it.
yeah. And anyways, and then that's when we decided kind of jump into the wholesaling and stuff like that. But I want to talk to you about David. why did you become a realtor and not become an awesome wholesaler?
I had no idea the wholesale space even existed. I actually went to, I think it was when I first moved out here to California, I went to some kind of training, whatever it was, and I believe it was probably wholesale when I think back now, up in Victorville when I was out there.
Oh, yeah. A lot of deals going up there.
And I went in, listened to it, was like, okay, cool. And of course, you could like pay and sign up and get some more information. I just was kind of just, I don't know, just looking for something because I came from 10 years of construction background and management. So coming out to California, didn't fall into the same industry. I literally saw the sign on the side of the Century 21 as I was working out in Temecula. And I was like, get your real estate license. And I was like, it's a good idea. I'd like to get into investing. So I went inside, Century 21, Felipe's there. And I was like, what do you got to do? So they told me, take these classes, get your license. Sounded like I could just knock it out in no time flat, but took about a year probably get the licenses, fun stuff. And then just jumped in again, both feet. And I didn't know anything about the wholesale space. Like I literally remember when we met and you were explaining stuff to me, like all of us. I mean, like we just be kind of honest up here. You just kind of like you take it in. And you're like, I really don't know what this guy's talking about exactly, but I'm just gonna go with it, and I'm gonna figure it out as we go.
Yeah.
What do they say? Like fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
So that's definitely what we're doing as far as
that was my same exact reaction when he was telling me about what wholesaling was when he first had looked into it. I was like, do what? Like I knew the real estate side of it. They're like the retail side, and I'm like, wait, you, huh? Okay, I guess we're gonna figure this out.
Well, that goes back into like the whole like rivalry is that the agents don't know how to step outside the box and to understand that there are different ways to do transactions, and there are a bunch of ways to do transactions. And if you could just liberate yourself on understanding that, you could make a lot more money and serve a lot more sellers, right? Okay, so you get your license. I mean, was it all easy and uphill from there?
It's the steepest hill to climb ever.
What are you talking about? You just get your real estate license, man, and get it. Some sellers are going to sell you their house, and you can just throw it on MLS.
I won't say who told me this. We won't throw anybody underneath the bus, but they told me do an open house a week. You'll sell a house a month. This is when I first started. So I was like,
great advice.
sounds like a deal to me. Had no signs, had nothing. So I'm borrowing signs. I'm doing an open house a week. Sold one house.
Gonna get my Lambo tomorrow.
And I was like, this is tough, man.
Yeah.
But I just kept grinding it out every day. I came to the office every day, and I said, I'm gonna figure this thing out. It was like they say, you're drinking from a fire hydrant. There's so much information that you need to learn, so many different pieces of a transaction, and you just take it in as you can take it in, one little bit at a time. Try and figure it out. Make some mistakes. Ask for some help. And
because you really don't know until you go through it. You can have all that information thrown at you, but like it doesn't really mean anything until you actually go through it.
100%. I mean, like, how do you do about market analysis? Like, you hear the word market analysis, but like, how do you do that?
Right.
Right. And what information do you use to do it? And so, what platform do you use? Do you know how to use the platform? It's just kind of like, oh my gosh, this is a lot tougher than I thought it was going to be. And for us, and no knocks on no one, but the brokerage that I was with and the leadership that we had at the time, they were in the process of still kind of putting some things together. So the structure really wasn't there to really help us excel at the level that we could have if we had that structure. So it was a steep climb up. Now we're doing well, and that's just from a lot of hard work with real estate. You've got, 87% of these guys are part-time. I think they said last year, the stat came out, 49% of all agents across the nation sold 0 to 1 homes.
Wow.
So,
I think I'm one of them. No.
So you see, there's a lot that aren't doing so, and those who are doing are typically doing a very high volume, but it's a lot of hard work to get there. And a lot of organizations, something I'm learning and even putting in place now is just restructuring, like, how does the business look? Because when you start this as an agent, realistically, it's a hobby. That's what I call everyone hobbyist. I kind of feel like I'm still a hobbyist because things aren't really the way that I'd like them to be.
Really?
So people look at me and they're like, oh my gosh, like you're crushing, you got everything organized. I'm
Yeah.
like, you don't know. But I feel like we're in a hobby. And so as you continue to grow and learn, your hobby becomes a business. It gets structure,
I like that
it
you
gets
said
organization, right? And that's important to do, but where do you get that guidance from? And that comes where I think some of us fail, is we're afraid to ask for help. We're afraid to say, I don't know. Like, I'm going to get a coach. Or invest in yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I started investing in coaching about 3 years ago. And I wasn't even making, they said you're making like 6 figs. And I was just like, I'm not making 6 figs yet. But I'm going to invest in this coach because I've kind of hit a ceiling where I am. and I want to go higher. So I invested in a coach. This year, I hired on another coach. There's like 2-3 coaches now that are helping and guiding me to build this whole thing out because there's so much, again, that goes into it. I don't want this to be a hobby. I want to be able to take a vacation and turn off my phone.
Yeah.
If it's a hobby, I can't take a vacation and turn off my phone because there's no one back home getting the work done. So that's an important piece that I'm seeing right there. As far as on the whole real estate side and what that looks like. Now, on the wholesale side, throwing it back over to you guys, this has been just – I've learned so much because I understand now that there's so many ways that you can get this done. And you can go traditional, you can go wholesale. If you want to, you can sell it yourself, but I wouldn't recommend that one either. Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of different ways to get it done, and it's kind of it's nice to be able to work with someone who does something different than you because you learn more. You're able to talk to all of your clients on so many different levels to explain to them the options that exist because the consumer doesn't know. Like, we're surrounded by this all day, every day. So sometimes in our mind, because we're kind of in this bubble, we kind of feel like, at least I do, everybody knows this stuff because I see it and I hear it all day long. They don't.
Right.
Yeah. No, I want to go actually back to your career. And we'll get to the wholesaling and agent stuff, but so you get a coach for the first time. What was their piece of advice do you think that kind of set that spark? Because there's always that like, okay, we're actually getting some momentum. Do you remember that when you started getting Big Mo behind you?
It was the fact that I had someone that I had to be accountable to. That's really what it was. Like, I was at an event last year, and there was a guy who was thinking about signing up for coaching. He's like, what's the number one thing why you signed up for coaching? What do you get out of it? And I said, it's accountability. I know, because I'm the type, if I'm given an assignment to get done, like, if I'm responsible to make sure it's getting done, like, I can push it off. I can, maybe next week or whatever. But when I have to report to someone and it's not done, it's like, no, that's not happening. I'm not going to be the guy who didn't get his job done. Yeah. So, like, for me, the accountability was the huge piece. And once I was at that point accountable, now I started building better consistency in what I was doing. Because, like, so are you making your calls every week? Because there's a chart. And it says, did you make your calls? Did you send your notes? Did you do your pop buys? Yeah. No. So what are we going to do about that? Like, what are we going to change? What action steps are we going to put in place to make that happen? Because we're going to meet in 2 more weeks. And I'm going to have the same questions for you if you didn't get it done.
Right.
So that's what really got me going. And I just started becoming much more consistent in what I was doing. Because before, I really was just kind of all over the place. So they really help also provide structure as the direction we're going. I was really just a ship just kind of in the ocean, just kind of floating around. No rudder, just, hey, wherever the wind kind of took it is where it went. Whereas now we've got a direction that we're trying to go. And we've got some help in allowing us to get there as well. So coaching is critical. I mean, the top in the world get coaching in any career field. So why wouldn't I?
So you were kind of a coach or teacher at your own brokerage. But at the same time, what would you say to somebody who can't afford that coaching? I mean, even at the time, I know you said you weren't making at least 6 figures at the time. How did you afford it? And what advice would you give somebody else who can't afford that stuff? Great
question. And I think oftentimes it's looked at as what can I afford? Like, I can't afford that, it's too much. We're looking at an investment. It's an investment in yourself and in your career. So can you afford not to invest in yourself? The number one person that you should be investing in your business, or number one piece of your business, should be you. You're everything, at least in the beginning, you're everything in that business. You're the mind, you're working every single day, like, it's you. So there's going to be a return on that investment. So you have to understand that we're playing the long game here, not the short game. So I'm going to pour in, and maybe I need to borrow. Like, my best friend, he has a leadership coaching company that he puts together, and he said that he was spending money that he didn't have. He was taking out loans, and he was I'm just going to do this because I know what the future is going to produce if I invest now. It's tough because you're kind of in that place where I don't really have it, and I'm not sure that it's going to work out. It should be, and it was for me at least, a motivator. I've just put money on the table. I can't just lose that money. Like, I've got a family to support, I've got a mortgage that I got to pay, so let's be about this business. So that's what it was for me. Well,
let's talk about actionable steps because, it's definitely, we 110%. You invest in yourself, you're going to get that return 110%. But man, I'm just going to be transparent. When I invested in my first coaching program, I put it on a credit card. What'd you do?
I put it on a credit card.
And that's kind of what I wanted to really put out there. It's like when you listen to these podcasts, you hear the people say this, and it's like, but how do I get it? Where do I go? Right. And I want to say is like, yeah, maybe that's not for everybody. If because when you put it on a credit card, you are betting on yourself.
Absolutely.
My first coach was $5,000, and maybe many of you have heard my story, but when I first wanted to learn about wholesaling, I went to Michaela, my girlfriend at the time, and I said, hey, I did all my research. I know this is going to pay in return. I was $100,000 in debt fighting for my daughter at the time. And she goes, you know what? I believe in you. You should do it. And 2 months later, like I said, we got our first deal. So 100%, it is a return when you invest in yourself. So.
And I don't think that you made the comment about where the other people say, like, you have to be making six figures to get a coach. And I totally think that's false, because sometimes that coach, wherever you're at in your business, that learning curve that they bring to the table is going to get you there so much faster. So it's like, do you want to spend 5 years figuring it out? Or do you want to just pay somebody a little bit of extra money to kind of get you there in 2? Mm-hmm. And so I when people are like, oh, well, I'll get a coach when I hit this or when I hit that, it's like you always need a coach, because they're going to help you now. Like you said, it's a return. It's investing in yourself. Just like you spend money to go to the gym, you're putting the money out now to get in shape to look better later. With a coach, you're putting the money out now to learn things that you don't know that they know because they have the experience to get you there faster. And it's always worth it. So we're always big advocates also of getting a coach.
And on the actionable steps that you were talking about there, and when you make that investment, now like, so I've put down 5K, put down 10K, whatever it is that I put down. All right, so and drawing yourself out, plan of action of how I'm gonna pay that back, and what's the time frame. So if you spend 5K, so in 3 months, how can I have this paid back? And then your coach is gonna help you to put that plan together, so you can realize. And then you look back, you're like, man, 3 months. You're like, dang, dude, like I paid that 3 times over. And it's like the coaching's already paid for itself, and we just getting started.
Yeah. No, 100%. Okay, so you go to that coach. What happened? I mean, did you see progression? Was he a terrible coach? Did you have to get somebody else? I mean, when do you? Because because I know you were teaching other people. You were kind of doing deals, and then obviously, I want to. What was the transition period from not doing really any deals to doing deals?
So, if I think back, as far as the coach is concerned, always had the same coach. There's been a transition in my company, so I just got a new coach with that same company this year. So they had some changes. I don't know what those were. Got a new coach. I'm happy either way. My coach, pragmatic guy like I am, they do an analysis of you prior to you getting a coach. So they make sure they set you up with, it's real whatever. I don't know. It'll come to me maybe later in the show. But the assessment that they do to make sure that they're putting you with a coach who best aligns with the way that you think and the way that you do business. So it's not just a random, just pull one out of a hat. There's the guy for you. And so my coach was, he was easy in the beginning. He would just kind of like take his time, kind of getting to know me. What do you want? What do you need? How can I best serve you? And it was interesting because at the end of not at the end, but kind of midway through each coaching call, he would always ask the question, so what do you want to work on today? And I was kind of confused by that, because I just was like, hold on a minute. Like, I'm supposed to come here and you're just supposed to give me these answers, at least the way I thought that coaching worked.
For sure.
And he was like, well, no, because I want to know what you want to do. And then when you tell me what you want to do, then we can help draft up a plan of what that's going to look like. And so we gradually together just grew. I mean, when I started out, I didn't even know what to expect out of coaching. Like, I did research on the company, but not necessarily on coaching. So I knew that the company was great. They're number 1 in North America for coaching and training. So I was like, okay, here we go. But I didn't do any research like on the coaching.
Yeah.
So I just was like, whatever he tells me to do, I'm the kind of guy, if there's a solution and you apparently have it and you've been successful, just tell me what to do. And I'm just going to do what I'm told to do. So that's why it was kind of challenging when he says, so tell me, what are you working on today? Like, what do you want to do? What are you talking about? Dude, just line it out. So it was a bit of a learning curve for me. But I understand now, why he was doing that. He really wanted me to look at my business and what do I want to do. So they're not building it for you. You're building what you want, what's in your mind. And it helps you to kind of pull out also in your mind, where do you want to go? Like, what do you want to do? Like, what is your 1-year plan? What is your 2 and 5-year plans? Like, because I wasn't writing those things down before coaching. I just was kind of, again, I was just kind of just hanging out as it goes, as it goes. Now we've got strategic plans in place of where we're going to go and how we're going to get there. So
Yeah.
that's
No, that's actually funny, and I've been a part of many different mentorships, coaching programs, and yeah, I would say some of my frustrations have been, you know what I'm about to say,
Yeah.
is you go on a call with your mentor, and they basically go, okay, what questions do you have today? And you're like, I don't know what to ask. I don't know what to ask. Like, so and then you got the other ones that say, okay, here's the topic for the day. Or here's, and then,
Or they ask to see certain things so that they know how to
yeah,
guide,
because
like where to
basically,
guide you. Like, okay, let me see your KPIs. Let me see your this. What is this plan? Okay, now I know where to start.
yeah,
Here's what we do.
As a student and a mentee, you want to be like, I just want to be where you're at. How do I get there? How do I get there? And so tell me what to do next, right? So it's like I can see some of the frustrations, and everybody has their own different styles. Okay, so what does your business look like now?
now we are. Fortunately, we somehow made it to number one in our office over there.
There you go.
And we're with the number one Century 21 in the world. So
No big deal.
just kind of.
Well, tell us, you know, what it looks like. I mean, what does your team look like for you to be like the number one in the world?
So our team is. It's interesting because I've always been Team Broden from like day one. And everyone was like, "Well, who is this team?" And I was like, "They're coming."
That's right.
They're coming.
You build
But
it.
you said
You
that
build
you
it. They'll
set the
come.
standard.
Right? So right now we have hopefully agents. We have a transaction coordinator that runs a lot of our paperwork. We have a part-time marketing / like assistant who does a bunch of our marketing for us in those pieces, and then it's me. So at this point now we've grown to. I take a lot of listings. That's mostly where the heavy end of our business is. But when you take a lot of listings and you do the right marketing, your signs get calls. I took a land listing and I had 17 buyers. I can't service 17
Nice.
buyers.
Right.
Like I just can't. I know what I'm able to do. So at this point now, within the end of this first quarter, we'll be bringing on a buyer's agent.
Okay.
Because I want to be able to take all of my buy leads and hand them to them. I don't have the time in my schedule to be able to go on listing appointments and then go out and show properties. And I don't really work a whole lot on the weekends. So that's the thing that's unique about me as well. A lot of listing agents actually won't work a lot on the weekends. This is, I don't know, misunderstanding or thought that agents work 24/7 and they're always available on the weekends. The top agents almost are never available on the weekends.
For sure.
They've got a team around them
Yeah.
that's available on the weekends, but that's not them. So,
Yeah.
so that's where we are. At this point, I've seen how it's growing. So one of the things that my coach actually has me doing is we're in the process. She says, I want a job description, your job description. So what I did is I've taken everything that you do in real estate. And so it's actually kind of fun because I never did this before. Everything that I do in real estate, and this is from the finance side to the marketing side to the listings to the showings and everything. We wrote everything down, bullet points. And so now we're just taking it and we're just putting it under job titles. So there's marketing, and then there's finance, and then there's TC, and then there's the listing agent, and there's the buyer's agent. And so everyone has a job description. And so at that point, then we're able to bring on the team members that we need, and they're going to know what we need from them to help us find that success that we're looking for. Because at this point, I hope to 3x the business this year. My coach was like, "You're going to do that?" And I was like, "I'm going to do that."
Nice.
So let's make it happen. And so that's why I brought on a marketing coach. I specifically have a marketing coach, and that is specific to social media marketing.
Okay.
Not any other form of marketing, but just what you do on social media. And this is, I invested in this, and it's 90 days training just to be able to make one post because there's just so much that goes into marketing. It's not, I don't know, I'm just making a video and I'm just throwing it out there. And I don't know anything about marketing. And that's the cool thing, and maybe even the challenging thing when you go into business for yourself, is there's a whole lot of pieces of business that we're just not familiar with. And you realize as you're kind of going through this, like, oh, that's a piece of business. Like, there's a reason why someone went to school and got a degree in that area.
Yeah.
And why they work for Pepsi-Cola or Coca-Cola, whatever it is, in their marketing department. You see the Geico commercials, you're like, those things are hilarious and funny, right? Like, there's somebody behind that's putting all that together.
Yeah.
So we're investing heavily in social media marketing. That'll be coming Q2. And then we are in the process of, it'll be Q2 because we're a little behind of where I want to be, but we're actually going to be doing seminars. A lot of people do seminars specifically for buyers. There's a ton of stuff out there for buyers. One of the things that my marketing coach is telling me is that you need to niche down. Every agent tends to say, I can help you with buy, sell, invest, whatever. She said, that's like going to a crowded subway train platform and saying, hey, hello, trying to get someone's attention. No one's going to listen to you. But if you stood on that same platform, you said, Bob, if there's a Bob out there, you're going to get Bob's attention, and then you're going to be able to work. And so the same thing. So we're niching down. We're specifically working with sellers, even rotating slightly, and I haven't quite made the decision yet on the probate side. Because I was actually speaking with one of the probate attorneys, and she said there's a real need for this. And so when you got your ears open and you're out there and you're like, there's a need for this. Probate's great for me because at that point, I got courts and attorneys making decisions. So it's just, and I've got professionals that I'm working with. So it makes the transaction typically, at least working with those professionals, you got all the craziness that goes with it, but working with those professionals, you can get things done, and you can get paid like you're supposed to be paid for the work that you're doing. So that's important.
I'd be cold calling probate attorneys all day and say, hey, do you have any agents you want to work with? Right? Like, hey, I'm looking to work with probates, and let me be your go-to guy. I'm sure that's something maybe your coach told you.
100%, man.
Yeah. There's something I saw a long time ago, and it was just on a reel. But this is what I want people to understand when you get into the real estate space, especially more on the sales side, marketing side, real estate agents, wholesale side. Now, investment's going to be a little different, but the time you're able to learn how to do marketing and realize that lead generation is one of the most important things in your business, it's huge. And you've kind of heard me by passing how much money we're spending just in marketing. We always generate so many dang leads, and we're now focusing more on inbound leads. We started with the cold leads. A lot of people, when you first start and you don't have the money, you got to do kind of cold leads, cold reach outs because you don't have the money to put ads out there or work with other companies that cost a lot of money to get those inbound leads. But you need to get to your inbound leads as fast as humanly possible because then you can really start scaling.
Because you can have a process in place, you can have the business, the people, the everything, but without the leads, there's nothing you could do. You could be the best in the world at something, but without the clientele, then it doesn't mean anything.
Let me jump in. The first 2 hours of my day, I actually figured this, believe it or not, it's crazy the things you think that you should know, but you don't know. I actually figured out how to turn on Do Not Disturb on my phone on Saturday. Or Friday night, I guess I figured it out.
I just did that right now before this thing.
It was a game changer because my phone rings nonstop.
Yep.
And you don't get work done. And going back to your point is leads and prospecting. So like for me on my calendar, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the morning, that's prospecting. That's lead gen. That's me making outbound phone calls or answering those that I already have from the day before, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But that's the most important part of our day. Is generating that business. After that, I can go and solve all the other problems that are going to take place throughout the day. But if you don't do that one piece, then the business is going to fall apart because you could be really busy and you're handling all that. But if we're not continuing to feed that funnel, then at some point the funnel runs out. And it's just like, and to get it back up and running again, oh my gosh, we all know what that looks like. So you never want to be back down that road again.
No.
What CRM do you guys use as a realtor?
So I use Referral Maker, and that's with Buffini and Company, my coaching company. Yeah, it's simple. It's based on, it's based on relationships that you currently have. So it doesn't really have a space for me to like take on like all these like buyer leads because these aren't relationships. So I have a separate, just basically Excel spreadsheet that you just kind of put all that in. And at some point we'll figure out what we're going to do once we get the buyer's agent in and how that's going to look like. I mean, I've got another option for another CRM that our C21 provides for us that we can dump everything in there. At this point, no referral gets it done for me.
Can I share with you the one thing I always make fun of realtors about?
Yeah, go ahead.
And I'm sure you hear it all the time, and you might have even taught it back in the day. Do you know what I'm about to say?
No, I don't.
Is sphere of influence or
Sphere of influence.
Yeah. Hey, realtors, go to your family and friends and go see if they want to list their house and thinking that they're going to be millionaires tomorrow, right? Like, no, that's not how you do it. I promise you, marketing. Go on, literally work with marketing agencies if you need to in the beginning. Cold call outside. Don't bug your family. They're going to be there no matter what anyways. If you want to actually scale your business, learn how to actual market to get actual leads on the daily. And so it's just so funny that's the number one thing taught in agents. It's something that we talk about because as wholesalers, we don't talk about spheres of influence. We talk about SMS, cold call, PPC, Facebook,
Direct mail.
direct mail is a huge one. We send a lot of direct mail out, so we're always talking about just normal type of marketing channels that are in every type of business. But then when you see the number one thing taught to realtors is talk about go to your friends and family. I'm sorry, you got to learn marketing.
I 100% agree with you on that right there. And that's what's said, talk to your friends and your family. And if you go out, like I remember when I first started, I don't know, I wore out the soles on so many shoes knocking on doors. Like I just beat the crap out of doors. But I had
you got to do it.
And for me, it didn't work. Like go to your friends and family because I'm not from California. My wife here, so she has a little bit of family here, but that's it. Like I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Michigan. Everyone that I know was out there. So there was they weren't buying a house in California, and I really didn't have a referral network in place where I could refer them to agents out east or in the Midwest at that time. So yeah, it was hello, Adavid Broughton, Century 21 affiliated.
Yeah. So I thought that was always funny. But anyways,
I feel like your first client being your family would probably be the worst. Like
you'd be so pressured to get things right, and it's just
and also this is
I'd rather take somebody that doesn't know me and just assumes that I know what I'm talking about.
They want a discount.
I was just about to say it.
And
They want the discount. In our lead generation, they always say, "Hey, well, I got somebody in my family who's going to do it for 1%." So it's like it doesn't even matter where you're a realtor to make money. I was just saying this today. We're not in the charity business, right? Yeah. We are in the profitable business. We want to have a profitable business to solve profitable problems, right? So, your friends and family are going to want discounts anyways. So focus on lead generation. Focus on sales and locking those bad boys up, and then the rest is easy because then you have guys like Aviv in your brokerage who could teach you how to do the dang paperwork. Oh, sorry, TC could do that crap.
Yeah, I was going to say TC.
What I mean, and so if you could learn marketing, you will have a successful real estate agent business and a successful wholesale business. You have to understand marketing, and I'm going to tell you this right now, and I have all my marketing channels every single day because it's just what I'm personally doing until I hire a marketing director. But every single day I have all the tabs open for all my marketing channels, and I'm watching each lead come in, and I'm looking at the quality. I'm seeing if we made contact. I am so dialed in right now into my marketing that we're always tweaking it and making it better to make sure we get good quality leads so we can have that consistent deal flow. And I gotta watch that because I just took my team out to dinner last Friday, and I'm constantly making sure that they're fed right. My team, because we have 4 dispo people now, and they need constant properties to sell, and we're moving these deals, and it's fantastic. And then when they don't have the property that was produced by the business, they're out there looking to see if they could help other people. Yeah. But I'm going down a tangent right now. But so back to obviously working with wholesalers. And have you heard by passing other realtors at your brokerage? Like, what do they talk about wholesalers? I would love to hear what you guys hear.
Nobody even understands it. Like, when I make a phone call, like we had one that we're working on over in Needles, and so I called the agent. It's like, I need a referral out here. I'm not going to be able to make it out to this one, but let's put this together. It's kind of a done deal. Just going to hand this to you. I didn't even ask for a referral on it. Because I wanted them to do it. It was a lower price one.
Yeah.
Just do it. And the agent was just like highly referred. When I kind of explained to her what was going on, she was just like crickets. And then I was like, hey, what's going on? And then she's like, here, call this lady. And then, so she sends me to some agent who probably does 2 deals a year. I don't know.
Yeah.
But she was hungry. She wanted to do something. We got her in. 24 days later, she listed it. She got it sold. So agents aren't familiar with what all goes into it. They're afraid to learn new things. I'll say that again. Agents are afraid to learn new things. Don't be. The industry's constantly changing. You need to change with it.
Yeah.
Get outside the box, and that's something I always
just be open-minded to it. I've had so many agents that we've dealt with, not even when we put stuff like on market, but that an agent's brought us a deal, right? Whether usually with a seller. And, at first they're like, well, how does this work? Okay, I'm a little confused because, I'm used to going through my brokerage. I said, hey, let me break it down to you. Go through the whole thing. They sit with me through the process because I'm in constant communication with them. And at the end, they're like, this was the easiest thing ever. I'm like, yeah. Now let's do more. It can be this easy. Just say, hey, you know what? I don't know it, but tell me about it. Right. Instead of, I don't know it, I don't want to touch it. And it's like, it could be that easy.
And that's what, unfortunately, a lot of agents fail on is they're afraid because they don't know and they don't want to learn. I remember when you first called me and you were explaining it to me, I was like, I don't even know what this is. But I was like, okay, I think I need this. And so I asked, what else would we need over here? Okay, this all sounds like it can do what, so let's just push it through and see what happens. Well, what do you know? We sold that. Okay, so let's do another one. All right,
Let's do it again.
Push it through. We sold that. All right, let's keep this thing going. So
Yeah.
it's just a matter of just, again, taking the time to realize there might be a couple extra steps that you're not familiar with, but you're going to learn those. Once you know them, you know them.
Yeah.
And it just flows.
Yeah. Once you do proof of concept, it's kind of like, there it is. Another thing, too, is that why agents are so afraid to sometimes think outside the box is because in the testing, they're always talking about lawsuits. And it's true. There are going to be lawsuits. It doesn't matter in this business. You will get, we're actually, we did a deal last year. I'm not going to say the whole story, but yeah, I mean, we actually settled on a good chunk of change, and it's nothing we did wrong. It was actually fully title's fault. They cleared it and stuff like that. It was just property supposedly, I guess, wasn't the actual seller, and it went all through. And anyways, and we made a lot of money on it, and they're saying, well, no, that wasn't an actual property that could have been assigned. So. Anyways, so our attorney, so we ended up just settling on a settlement. It was great. But anyways, that's just the price of doing business, right? But
Well,
you're going
lawsuits aren't as scary. Yes, lawsuits are scary, but they're not as scary as some people make it out to be. It's like you'll just figure it like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of like risk within reason, but make sure your paperwork is done. Make sure everything is documented, and you'll be fine.
Right. But yeah, I mean, it happens very rarely. Most of the time, yeah. So don't be afraid of that. It's not going to happen. And there's something else I was going to bring up here as well. I just went blank. Usually I have like a bunch of notes and stuff. But
This guy's right off the cuff.
Oh,
This is professional.
Novation. So you're talking about the property in Needles. And that's a big thing. That's a big talking point right now in the wholesale space is novations. So novations, obviously, meaning replacing the document to sell to on MLS to retail buyers. And we use you for all of our California deals, and that's kind of what you said. So that's not even an assignment. That is a novation. And so when we brought that to you, our first novation, what did you feel? How did you feel about that? Because a lot of wholesalers are afraid to reach out to agents and thinking like, well, are they going to accept my paperwork? Da 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 da. And I mean, we do it all across the nation, but you're our go-to guy for California, and now we're solely in Southern California at this moment. So you'll be doing more with us. What was your first thought when you saw that?
I was ready to take it on. Like, I didn't understand it, but once I got the paperwork, I realized, okay, and you explained it to me, like, so we're just going to sign here, and we have this agreement here that allows us to do that. We can sell this property. And I was like, okay. So I'm going to get a listing agreement signed. I'm going to put a sign in the front yard, and buyers agents are going to call, and we're going to get offers, and we're going to sell these things.
Yep.
And that's what happens.
Pretty straightforward. Yeah, Novations is a fantastic way to serve your seller on getting the net number that they're looking for, and because we're offering convenience. Again, just like a wholesale deal, we're offering convenience where they don't have to pay any realtor fees, closing costs, or anything like that because it comes off on the back end. But yeah, we go to the agent. We just say, hey, we have the attorney in fact. There are a few things that you need to know about attorney in fact, novation, identification, and the purchase agreement. So it's just those 3 documents, and the agent just goes off and does what they do best. So. Yeah, and like I said, we'll be doing a lot more of those. So we talked about where you came from, where your team is at now. Where do you see yourself at the end of this year?
End of this year, full-time assistant, full-time buyer's agent. Definitely got to have those in order for us to hit the numbers that I want to hit and to take the time off that I want to take off. Like, one of the things that my coaches told me is to schedule time off. So we have to, right now, I have to schedule 52 days of the year of time off. So that's important. That's, again, one of those goals. And making sure that while I'm looking to make X, I mean, this year, our minimum goal for me is, I think it's 613 is my number. I'm not afraid to throw that out there.
Nice.
That's what the numbers came out to be. And people
There
are
you
like, oh
go.
my gosh, like, no, that's my goal. That's what I want to hit. And I know we can do it. But we have to, of course, put the pieces in place to realize that you need to have about 70% in your pipe to start the year to hit that number. So we're already there. So things look really good. So
Nice.
we're going to do a really good year. We'll be number 1 in our office again.
Nice.
we'll be excited about that for sure.
One thing I would suggest to you too, if you want more leads, is for agents, and I'm going to just say this on air, is that as a realtor, I would reach out to a bunch of wholesalers. Hey, give me your retail leads. Give me your retail leads.
And you are my connection, so I'll be doing that. That's one thing that that I don't do enough of, even though I have that time set aside. And I actually, and this is what happens to a lot of agents. They'll say, "Who do you call?" They're like, I called everybody in my sphere of influence, right?
And then it just stops.
And now I don't know who to call. I don't know what to do. So it's like, well, if you don't know someone, just, I don't know, go knock on a business door. But like in your case, like, so Aaron, like you wholesale, where would I go? This is the question you could ask.
Yep.
If you got somebody out there listening, hey, where do I go to find and meet wholesalers?
Mm-hmm.
And they'll have a connection for you. Or you know what? There's this thing called the internet. Google. Just type it in there, Facebook. Put it out
groups.
there, and you'll find it and start building those relationships. Because once those wholesalers see you can get the job done, well then guess what? Now more leads are going to come your way, more deals for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But you do got to go after it. It's not.
Well, then they refer you to other people
Mm-hmm.
because there's one of the mentor groups that we're in. Somebody had a California deal, and I think I forgot to tell you that I referred you to somebody, but I did. But anytime I see California, they're like, I need an agent. I'm like, here's how to feed. Here's how to feed.
We're working on that.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
Nice.
I would literally, if I was an agent, I would just go into all the wholesaler groups. There are a bunch of Facebook groups, and just say, I'm a real estate agent. And you want to have like a plan, you want to, what do they call it? Not a plan of action, but what, like when you put it like, hey, come here for drinks or drink this anyways. But basically you're going to go,
Call
hey,
to action?
Call to action. Thank you. Call to action. And then so you want to put a call to action on your Facebook post. And you go, hey, I'm a realtor in Southern California. Give me all your retail leads. Just like that. And then you don't even say, please give it to me. Hey, if you have time, hit me up. Don't say that. Say, give me your retail leads. And then let's do deals.
Send me your novations.
Yeah. And you want to keep it short. You want to keep it call to action. This is how my guys sell a lot of their deals. And then that's how you're going to be able to get retail leads. You're going to get more listings with Novations. You're going to become the I'm telling you, you better write this down. You're going to be the authority figure in Southern California like that. Just because I to be honest, I don't see actually many realtors out there doing that.
Well, no, and even as our team, when because we did do nationwide novations, when they were calling in the areas, I mean what would you call it, the small mindset of some of these realtors of not wanting to. I mean, they were calling 10, 15, 20 realtors to try to find somebody that would work with us and work with it because they would get so close-minded. And but then once we found somebody, I mean, that's their go-to person. We then refer them to other people in that state. Like, if these realtors don't understand, like, there's so much that could be done and more money you can make by making those connections. Because now it gets passed to everybody that needs help, especially now with the industry kind of going towards the novations and doing.
Well, because there's such butt heads in it. So like a lot of people look at us and think that you guys as realtors are just, I'm not gonna use the word scary, but just like close off. Right. So if you could be more open and say, hey, I'm a realtor doing consistent deals. Let's collaborate as a realtor. This is solely what I do. I don't wholesale anything. I solely will list your novations, give me your retail leads, and we could, 70-30 the splits or whatever, however you negotiate it, and then say, let's do this.
People get afraid to have to explain to a realtor, I think, what goes on.
You say, I already work with.
Yeah, I'm a wholesale family real estate agent. I already understand this concept. Let's go.
I work with realtors. I work with wholesalers already, and then boom, there's your regular lead gen. And then you could literally just do that every single morning. Just post on like 5 groups every morning, and then do your prospecting. And then post on 5 groups on wholesale groups, and then go back to what's your normal stuff. And that's just additional.
Aaron's giving me my to-do list.
He is.
Love it.
I'm just hype. I could just see you be that authority figure in Southern California fast.
And you asked the question like, where do I see myself at the end of the year? And I was actually sitting down talking to my wife, and I was like, and this just kind of falls, I think, into that. As I told her, I said, you can be good at something, you could be great at something, or you could just be the best. And I was like, I've firmly made up my mind. Like, I've always thought that I was good and I can be great, but I've made up my mind. To be number one, you got to go out and do the things that others aren't willing to do. Have these conversations like we're having right now, and get up and then do the work behind or after the conversation to make it a reality. So it's
Yeah.
super exciting. You know, we never know what's going to happen. You know, you sit down, you start talking, you have a conversation. You know, where is this going to go? What's this going to build into? You know, because we're just getting together, having a conversation here, and you know, hopefully, and I already know this is going to lead into, you know, more business for you, more business for us. Mm-hmm. It's awesome.
More sellers and buyers to help.
Hey, so my camera just shut off on me. I don't know why. Anyways, so I'm like I said, I'm still learning all this. But anyways, again, I just want to thank you so much, Adavid, for coming in here and sharing some of your knowledge. Obviously, I want to keep doing this. A lot of times, I just come, with us catching up. I like to just get these on as a podcast too, because I think a lot of value does happen in these conversations. So, again, thank you so much.
100%. Thanks for having me. You guys are the best, and so looking forward to all the 2024 has in store.
Heck yeah.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Sir.